Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. First of all, guys, apologies for the past few days of silence. I actually started this year at work. It's probably been my most active start of the year. Just closed a few big deals, and just for you guys to have an idea. So on Thursday, I had to work, then drive back and forth something like 600 miles, which is 900 plus kilometers. Get home 4 in the morning, wake up at 8, work from 8 to 7 p.m. yesterday. And when I was about to record, I sat a little bit on the couch, and I fell asleep immediately. So that's the reason of my silence. By the way, I'm thinking about doing a live stream on Tuesday. You guys let me know in the comment section if this would be something you would like or not. Now let's start. The bond market has stabilized quite a bit. It is not perfect. It's still showing a little bit of cracks, but nothing like it was showing before. The dollar, as I've mentioned, one of my predictions is that the dollar index will finish the year below 98. We seem to have reached 110, big psychological area, sold off now to 107.5. So we have very similar conditions that we had when Trump was elected the first time, which means a strong dollar and expectations of high dollar for the first couple of months until we actually get a lower dollar, which is what Trump wants, and high interest rates, which then should turn into lower interest rates going forward. With this, stock market has done very, very well. I think the S&P put in a new all-time high recently. I've heard Harry Dent predicting the end of the world again, and he was really pissed that the stock market made a new all-time high. So he came up with all sorts of excuses. If you don't know who he is, he's the person who's been telling you to buy bonds and short the stock market since May of 2009, and has predicted a crash of 80% plus, literally at least twice a year. So that means so 2009, that's 16 years. So we're talking 30 to 90% crash predictions, which have been not only wrong, but the complete opposite of what actually happened. Yesterday, I've also seen Peter Schiff's video, typical thing you'd expect. Buy gold, buy silver, buy foreign stocks, buy commodities. The dollar is about to collapse. The stock market is about to collapse. Crypto is about to collapse. Same story. The difference is that he doesn't tell you that he's been arguing this for 20 years plus. So if you also follow this advice, you get completely annihilated. Once again, he incentivizes his followers to go and check and buy his funds, but he never talks about checking the returns of those funds. The reason being, the returns are complete garbage. So understand who is giving advice to you. Now, I'm not saying you should listen to them or not, but they won't tell you about this part of their life. So just check their track record and make your own decisions. Now, crypto has done, we've had nothing but excellent news. We are in this phase where it's very boring. It's really accumulation phase. People start questioning. This is actually, this mixes up well together with the fact that a lot of KOLs and influencers were saying that they were going to sell in the first quarter of the year, which means they're probably selling right now, and a lot of them are indeed selling right now, which is creating some pressure in the market. But to me, the key, I think, has been a little bit of, particularly with Ethereum, a little bit of, I have to say alleged, but a little bit of price suppression, as the pricing patterns look very identical to Bitcoin around the ETF time. But I will expand about this a little bit so you guys understand my point of view. The Pulse-chain ecosystem has done quite well. There's been a sell-off in the meme coins in Ethereum. I think there's a lot of people doubting if Ethereum will go anywhere, which is good. So let's go for the bullish case for crypto. Now, if I look at previous cycles, we should pretty much from now on just go up. Particularly Ethereum should shine the most around February, March, April, potentially leaking into May, but at least these 3 months, February, March, and April. Now, did I know this before? Yes. So why did I predict Ethereum to top 5K before mid-January? Because I was trying to get cute with the cycle, trying to predict ahead of the cycle, and the cycle has bitten in the butt. So this is what happens when you try to get cute, you get things wrong. Now, I've made a prediction, which I'm very confident, that when you look at the charts post November 2024, Ethereum will outperform Solana. And I've seen a couple of things that can lead me to this idea. Number one, there are $13 billion of Solana getting unlocked this year. Particularly, I think it's 3 billion in February. So it's quite a lot. It's the biggest token unlock in Solana that we've ever seen. Now, mind you, that all these VCs involved, if you're up 20-fold, they are up 200-fold. Understand that part. You see, because that's key, and I don't think people say, oh, but these Solana tokens unlock have been priced in. Really? How do you price in $13 billion of selling pressure? I mean, Ethereum has gotten not even 4 billion from Grayscale, and it's been terrible for Ethereum. So, I mean, even the Bitcoin had like 21 billion from Grayscale, and it has been quite detrimental for the first 6 months or so. So, you know, when I say that I think Ethereum will outperform Solana, that doesn't mean that Solana is going to crash in dollar terms, meaning priced in dollars. I'm saying versus Ethereum, I think Ethereum will outperform. And we just had Trump and his wife launching a meme coin in that chain, which, my God, can you get more of a top signal in the sense of the US president has launched a meme coin in your chain, the chain of the memes. Now, if you go to Solana, it's a rug fest nowadays. I mean, I've seen rug pulls that, I've seen coins and rug pulls that last literally 3 minutes or less. Then of course, once in a while pops up a big Vine, a big fart coin, a big whatever, and people say, "Oh, look, so successful." You say, "Yes, but your odds are better playing roulette in the casino." I mean, that's the reality. So, of course, it's a bit like when you see this athlete came from a very difficult position and now he's the Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. True, and everybody loves the success stories, but you need to understand that for every success story like that, you have 10,000 terrible stories. That's just my point. But a lot of bullish things have happened for the crypto market as well. And by the way, I'm not against Solana. I actually think that Solana has done great things to bring a lot of attention to our markets. Pulse chain ecosystem seems to be recovering slowly but surely. I think we should have a decision by the SEC probably next week. And it seems to me that the likelihood of a positive dismissal, at least partial dismissal, is extremely high. Can anybody guarantee this? No, but it seems to be the case that if you're a gambling man, probably that's where we are heavily tilted in terms of probability. Now, when it comes to Ethereum's price manipulation or price suppression, to a degree, I mean, Ethereum has really, the foundation has done really, garbage things. They focus on environment instead of price performance. I mean, all this kind of idiot positioning is not helpful. And a lot of the OGs on Ethereum have left them. So that is a fact. So let's not try to sugarcoat this. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. Bitcoin will be, in my opinion, some way or another, part of a strategic reserve. Now, why? Why do I think that that's the most likely outcome? Because who's going to vote against it? So think about it from a political standpoint. Forget if people actually believe or not in crypto. That's completely irrelevant. these politicians, they will think, okay, if I'm against crypto, how many of my constituents are against crypto? Shrinking by the day. What about loyal cultist supporters? Growing by the day. What about everybody else? They don't care. So there's a lot of political gain for me to be in favor of, and a lot of political potential loss of being against it. Because the ones who are in favor of it, 50 million people in the US now own crypto and growing, which means that by some time it's going to be like half the population in a short while. So even if you don't understand crypto, you don't like it, you think it's a garbage, it doesn't matter. Politically speaking, it's interesting that you become in favor of it, or at the minimum, not be against it. And yes, you will piss off people like Peter Schiff, but you'll get a number of cultist, crazy people on your side that will, guess what, will vote for you most likely. So there's a lot to gain. My point is, politically, from a political standpoint, there's a lot to gain and very little to lose. Then look at what the US president is doing. He freed Ross from the Silk Road, and he called his mother, didn't have to do that. He bought $200 million of Ethereum, or 193 million, via World Liberty Financial. Larry Fink has said that he sees Bitcoin going as much as 700K. And this is very important about BlackRock. If you consider assets under management of BlackRock versus the GDP of any country, BlackRock would rank, I believe, number 3. So you would have US and China, followed by BlackRock. So that's the economic power that they have. So it doesn't matter if you like BlackRock, if you think the guy is a good person, if the guy is a bad, that doesn't matter. That's completely irrelevant for the case. If he wants to do this, he has 15 times the economy of the Netherlands, which is one of the richest countries in Europe. He has half of the GDP of the US under his control, etc., etc., etc. And what has he said? In his recent Bloomberg interview, Larry Fink said, we want the SEC to approve, I'm not sure if he said this in the interview or in a separate matter, to approve as soon as possible tokenization of securities and bonds. Which chain would they deploy this? Probably Ethereum. Why? They already own $4 billion of it, number one. Number two, the problem with Solana is that once a month, the chain breaks and goes out of as outages for certain periods of time. You cannot have that with securities and treasuries. Layer 2s have massive concentration and admin risk. So Ethereum is the safest option. And guess what? They've already deployed a few things on Ethereum before. So it's not like it's a new thing. So I wouldn't be surprised that BlackRock would like to accumulate as much Ethereum as they can at these low prices. And you look at the patterns of purchase by Trump, he's also buying Ethereum. He's buying Ethereum, Bitcoin, but he's not buying Solana or Sui or any of the other, and neither Pulse chain. So, I am very light on Ethereum. So I'm not saying this with a vested interest because I am not a big whale in Ethereum. So this doesn't really pay me directly. Now I do think Ethereum will play catch up quite aggressively in short time periods, and I think it has the potential to pump something like 35-40% in the span of 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden everybody's happy about Ethereum. Everybody always believed Ethereum. Crypto banter is all in Ethereum. He never liked any other chains, and he will completely reverse everything he's ever said before, and we move forward. But let's then go through the positives. The US president is pro-crypto. The strongest financial institution in the US is very pro-crypto. The UAE has $40 billion in Bitcoin already. China, via Hong Kong, has been discussions for a strategic reserve. Russia is pushing for legislations that will classify Bitcoin as property so they can also build a reserve. The SEC is going to be pro-crypto for the first time. Half the government is extremely pro-crypto. The president owns altcoins. The president has his own meme coin. His wife has his own meme coin. The vice president has altcoins, Aave, or Avalanche, one of the two. Don't quote me on that. Elon Musk, of course, has been connected to crypto for a long time. What else? Basically, clear regulation is coming with a light touch approach. And a $500 billion investment for AI, and I believe it will eventually extend beyond only AI. But this is the important thing to mention. You see, and I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but I think it's important. In the 90s, there was a lot of rumors about internet stocks. And the US was very pro-internet/tech. You fast forward 20 years, the top 5 or top 6 richest companies on the planet are all tech companies and are all based in the US, with the exception of Saudi Aramco, which is the biggest oil and gas company on the planet, which is a money printer completely. I mean, that company is amazing. You're talking 200 billion net profit a year or something. It's completely crazy. But you get the point. You fast forward 20, so the US becomes very pro that industry, facilitates a lot of investments, etc., etc. Guess what? In 20 years' time, the top 5 companies on the planet, 4 of them are US-based and tech-based. Now, I think it's fair to say AI will be the future. So here comes the US investing shitloads of money. And I have the feeling that in 20 years' time, we're going to see the top 5 most valuable companies on the planet. And unfortunately, for the rest of the world, I get the feeling that 4 out of 5 will be American and will be AI related. There's a saying in the world economy, which is US innovates, China emulates, which means copy, and Europe regulates. So Europe doesn't innovate anything. That's why their stock markets typically are complete garbage. They see something and they are so concerned about regulating it to the maximum rather than actually understanding the benefits of it. And this is why, unfortunately for everybody else, the US, when it comes to the financial economy, ends up dominating these spheres. It's not by mistake, it's not by chance. When they make the decision, they make the big decision, and it ends up paying quite handsomely for them, and then the rest of the world ends up playing catch-up to it. So, in summary, am I concerned about the crypto market? No. Do I see a lot of positive things? Yes. However, fundamentals precede price. So I'll give you this example about the executive order, because we talk about this here a lot in this channel, but it's important that you have a clear example for you to understand exactly what I mean. So President Trump signs the executive order on crypto, and the market initially sells off, then it recovers and kind of goes sideways. And this is what is important to know. The news follow the color of the chart. Example, if you would have signed the executive order and the Bitcoin would have gone from 105 to 120 almost immediately, the news would be Trump's executive order shows clear signs that the US is moving towards a strategic reserve and to become the capital of the world. If he writes the executive order, the same executive order, and the price drops, the news would be people are disappointed with the executive order as they were expecting blah, 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 blah. If it's mixed, meaning sideways, there's mixed reaction to Trump's executive order. On one side, it's a pro-crypto stance. On the other side, doesn't look quite enough as the market was expecting. My point here is the same order will have 3 news headlines, depending on the color of the chart. You see, the fundamental of the executive order is very, very positive. But because the chart didn't explode to the upside, now all of a sudden we need to justify why it didn't go up. while people fail to realize that these are the foundations for the massive price explosions in the future. You see, in maybe 3 weeks' time, people say, of course it's going up. Look, the UAE is on board, China is getting on board, Russia is on board, the US is pro-crypto, the SEC is pro-crypto, everybody's pro-crypto, the strategic reserve will come. Of course it's going up. Yes, but all of the things that I just said are known today. This is the key. But the issue is that it's difficult. Our brains don't like it. Our brains like to see a chart filled with green and go all in at the top. That's how, and then go all in, see our portfolio go up by like 50% in 10 minutes. We feel really, really well. And then the whole thing drops massively and it's a nightmare. And then we enter into the other roller coaster of feelings. And the same thing on the other side. When Bitcoin is bleeding out during the bear markets, your brain is saying, don't do it, don't buy it, this is terrible, this is, this is going to zero, so don't do it. And if you buy it, you feel like crap for about 3 weeks. When you fast forward 2 years into the future and you look back at your decision of purchase, you say, oh, this was great. Thank God that I've done it. But there's nothing you can do about this. This is how our brains are wired. Now, you can be very lucky, and you can buy something that went up fivefold, and then it goes up another 500-fold on top of you without any major corrections. It can happen. Extremely rare. And if it happens, it will guarantee your pain in the future. And you ask, but how is this possible? How can a 500x and only green cause the pain in the future? Because you'll be convinced that you are the next Warren Buffett. You are convinced that you are the crypto magic, the crypto Midas. Everything you touch in crypto turns to gold. And you're probably going to do some foolish decisions to get the same dopamine feeling on a different coin. And then you'll quickly realize that happens once in the blue moon, like winning the lottery. By the time you pay attention to it, you already lost 75% of your previous gains. And now you enter into revenge trade mode to try to make it all back and unfortunately end up losing everything. This is a common story in crypto, particularly the bull markets, because these things get much more explosive in much shorter time frames. So this is why I say the bull market is way harder than the bear market. It's very easy. Once you wrap your head around doing the things that make you feel the worst, by the depression, by the blood, by the bleeding chart, when accumulate over there, once you put that in your head, it's very easy then, because probably any price range that you're picking over there, it's going to be profitable within 6 months. So it's and then it will never come back into non-profit. So then it becomes very easy. But during the time of purchase is very, very hard. That's my point. So in summary, markets are are still within the cycle. We should start to see some fireworks very, very soon. Oh, and I wanted to mention this to you guys. In my view, the overall thesis, which is the most important one, is all about liquidity and about currency debasement, which will not stop. You see, you are the US president, okay? You get to the Oval Office and you say, okay, let's look at this budget. Number one item, Medicare. Oh, I cannot cut this. This is a good way to ensure that my party will never be re-elected again. Okay, next one. Social Security. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's another good way to never be re-elected again. Option number 3, interest expense. Oh, if I cut interest rates, mortgage rates go down. Mortgage rates go down, people can buy more houses, people get happy. I will attack this one. That's why Trump has said we need to bring those rates down. And number 4, military. Okay, I guess half the country will back me up on cutting this, and half the country will not. So I guess I can cut, maybe the budget is around $1 trillion. Maybe I can cut 300 billion out of it. Doesn't really make much difference in the great scheme of things, but it will make some people happy without making other people too nervous. So Medicare is out of question. Social Security is out of question. Military is to a certain degree out of question, although You have some room there versus the first two. So what is left? Interest expense. What is the hurdle? The US president does not control interest rates. The Fed does. Okay, so let's play this game. Let's say the Fed cuts rates. Good. More liquidity into the markets. Lower cost of funding. More money in financial assets. Crypto goes up. Seems good. Option number two, the Fed doesn't cut rates. So the interest expense by January 2026, which is 12 months from now, the interest expense will now not be the number three, it will be the number one item of the budget, close to $2 trillion, around 1.9. Okay, how will the US pay that? By issuing more debt, more currency debasement. So either the Fed lowers the rates, the US refinances the debt, and that budget item gets cut, and more liquidity is brought in the system by the Federal Reserve. Or option number two, the Fed doesn't do anything, and the Treasury needs to go deeper into deficits to accommodate the highest interest rate expense. In any of the situations, currency debasement continues, more dollars are created, more dollars go into the financial system, crypto and risk assets go up. Not every single day, not every single week, not every single month, but over any type of extended period of time, it goes up. Why? Because the asset is priced in the dollar. The dollar is the denominator here below. If the value of this goes down, the value of the thing up goes up. The value of the first part of the equation, so you have asset in dollar. If the dollar goes down, the asset goes up. In the extremes, the Venezuelan stock market is the best stock market in the world. The problem is when you convert your stocks into Bolivar, you cannot buy anything. So it's irrelevant. I hope that's clear. Don't forget, guys, if you want a live stream on Tuesday, let me know. Thank you very much for your support, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe.